Hello and welcome to Kidder Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV, Upper Mississippi River Valley, and today we've got a lot of post-harvest tasks that we need to dive into. We've still got our slurry spreader out here getting this all spread. If we pull up the menu here, we need to finish spreading on 23, and I'd really like to get out to field 6 again and see if we could spread on that as well. But we've got a lot of other jobs that we need to do, and this guy's going to take a little while to get this done. No estimate in the course play menu, but he's going to town. Now, the big job that we've got to do is we were going to jump out here and mow this field, but I think before we get started on that, I'm going to hop across the road here, and I just realized we need to do some tillage on these big cornfields over here. So let's go ahead and get the 9630? Yeah, 9630 all hooked up here, and we're going to jump over and get this piece of tillage equipment hooked up. Let's see if we can put her into gear here. Now, this video should be coming out after my Toby eye tracker video that I did, and we've still got that turned on. I'm going to leave it enabled on this save, I think. I don't know if we're going to try and go all in cab here all the time, but I've been having kind of fun playing around with this, so we're going to keep putzing with it, see how it works, and learn a little bit about it before I jump into our full realism save that I'm going to try and do here soon. But this has been quite the experience, so let's see if we can actually get this set up. I need to drop some gears down here. My view does have a tendency to go a little bit sideways when I'm looking at the console here to figure out what I'm doing, but I have, since recording the video, gotten a little bit better at figuring out where to look. Move my microphone out of the way here so that I can look a little bit further behind me. There we go. I can actually get down there and see the hitch if I do things just right. And get her into the right gear here. I was originally struggling a little bit with some of the modded vehicles that I play with and having the camera set so high up in the cab. But I have since figured out that if I just hold my eyes on the edge of a screen, the camera will slowly kind of reset its default position here. So we're getting the hang of this. It's more or less intuitive, but there are a few things that I have been slowly learning the more that I've played with it. So we'll continue to use this and see how it works out for us in the long run. But we're going to go ahead and just get this thing out here into the end of the field. And I think we're going to have Courseplay attempt to tackle this for us. See if we can make a dent in this big field. I guess it's realistic that when I need to shift gears, my Stream Deck for gear shifting is actually down and to my right. So my view drifts down there when we're doing it, and that works out pretty good. Now, let's see here. If I just rotate my view around here, we're going to go ahead and start unfolding this thing. It does kind of lock me into not being able to turn past a natural position, which is actually kind of cool. All right, so now if we turn back over here, nice. We're going to go ahead and do one tool, 2 headland passes. And unfortunately, because I want to do the headland passes last, it's got the start point all the way over on the other end of the field. That's all right. This guy's smart enough to figure it out. So I'm going to tell him to just get going. Apparently, he's going to fold up to go over there. Seems unnecessary, but we'll let him figure it out. I'm sure he's got this. All right, I'm just making sure. It does look like we've got this guy going here, so I'm gonna let him do his thing. We're gonna get all of this ground tilled up with this chisel plow, and let's make sure we're doing the right field. I guess I forgot to check. We are indeed. Everything's looking good, and our nitrogen's going down over here. Everything's looking good. So that brings us back to the other job here, which is going to be jumping in here to our swather here. and we're gonna be running this thing through the field. Let me get all of my menus adjusted here. Now this is something that I have not yet tried out with this eye tracker. I'm looking up in the corners here. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure we've got the head all lowered. Both the head and the conditioner are turned on now, and I'm gonna be doing this field completely by hand here. In fact, we're gonna even take a bit of the edges here. It's not the official field, but we can afford to take a little bit of ditch grass along with our hay here. It's all the same at the end of the day. And this machine is fast, so it was always a pretty big struggle for me to run this with the mouse and stuff and keep my view out of the trees if I was external. And internal here, this is going a lot smoother, a lot easier to watch the edge here. Very nice. So I am taking a large swath of this extra grass on the side of this, just because if we're gonna have to come in here and do everything manually, we might as well just get as much grass as we can here today. We're flying through this at 15 miles an hour. I don't want to get too close to that water though. Last time we did, we ended up with a few problems. Whoa, we're flying. Apparently, having more realistic eye tracking doesn't actually help with my steering though. Who would have thought? All right, well, I think we're staying on track here with the edge. It's always hard to tell until you've gone around for another pass or go into external view, but you know, you're gonna hear me talk about it a lot over the next couple of videos. We're giving this thing a shot. We're trying to learn with it a little bit and see if this is something that we want to do for the long haul. So you guys will have to let me know in the comments here what you think of a little bit more in-cab driving here, and if this is smoother or a better experience than what I've done in the past when we've attempted to do stuff like this and kind of struggled with it, to be honest. My biggest concern is that it'll get a little bit jerky with the camera following what I actually look at all the time, but you know how it goes. And then there's always the inevitable glance at the side screen to make sure that recording software is working appropriately and such. So things like that I won't be able to do much about, even if it does slightly ruin the immersion here. But I'm enjoying this grass work for a change. It's been a minute since we actually got out here and ran the mower. I let Courseplay do the other field over there, and I do have a baler that we've got loaded up on the save here. I caved and went with the suggestions that everybody's been making that I should just pick up the John Deere square baler off of the mod hub, and so we've gone ahead and done that. I've used that somewhere else before. It's a solid baler. It's not a great baler in real life from everything that I hear, but it's a solid mod, and it fits in with our John Deere focused farm, so I figured, why not give it a try? We've got equipment that's sized appropriately to run it at least, so we can make a go of it, hopefully. Give that 7810 something to do other than sit on the ag bagger there. I don't seem to be missing a lot of bits, a couple bits here and there as we go around the field, so that's encouraging. And we're gonna just do a full turnaround here. I suppose I should have lifted up the header there, but it is what it is. And I don't know, I think we've probably got like 3 more rounds of this to go, and we'll be good to go. Maybe not even 3, maybe we'll be able to do this in 2 rounds. We'll find out. I'm trying to see out in the field there if our plow is successfully going back and forth, or if he got hung up on the first headland pass or something weird. I know, or first turnaround on the headlands, I should say. I know every once in a while things go wrong with Courseplay, but a farm this size, we've got to keep things moving. It's looking a little dark out here, but I think it's just because we're in October. I'm glancing up at the clock, I apologize. And in October here, the sunlight doesn't last as long as it used to, but we're not quite 3 o'clock in the afternoon yet, so I would have expected the light to hold out a little bit longer. I know we've got some tint on the windows here. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Making sure our heads are still running. I didn't need to shut her off, I just needed to raise the header up here. And yeah, it looks like it's gonna be the 3 rounds, not the 2. Oh well, we're almost done here. All right, we are on the last pass here. Just trying to scoop this grass here. This thing does act a little bit like a rake if we run over stuff with the header on, so we've accidentally jumped out of cab there. But I've got it all cut now, and we're gonna go ahead and just run this thing back up through the yard here, I think, and then we'll see about getting that Baler purchased or leased. I'm not sure what that's gonna cost. I know I've got the loan available to take it out, so we may have to just go ahead and purchase it for a loan, or I don't know. We've been doing that lease to own mod, but I haven't actually bought any of that leased equipment yet. Oh my goodness, we've managed to snag that fence just a little bit. Got to pay a little bit closer attention. I guess I didn't realize this thing was quite so wide, or I might not have tried to come through this way. Usually we go up into the pasture there. All right, we've got it. That's easy peasy. And let me just see if I can sneak in this side here. Watching my corners. Ooh, I wonder if I'm gonna have to lower this down to get underneath the loader there. All right. Very good. Now that felt very cool, fun, natural, squeezing through the equipment like that. I think it's helping me go a little bit slower, to be honest. Now, this field isn't ready to cut, so I'm going to completely ignore that field for the time being. And we're going to come up here and grab the 7810 off of this ag bagger. And we'll be using this as our baling tractor, I think. So let me just leave that there. Oh. Gotta kit it into gear. Oh, I love the gear shifters actually shifting along with me here. I love when the modders get things right and pay attention to those little details like that. Let me adjust some more things. All right, I'm gonna just bring this thing up into the yard here, and then we're going to get that baler purchased. I can't remember exactly where our spawn zone is up here, so I'm just gonna put this right over here for the time being. Make sure we're nice and out of the way. All right, it looks like we cap out at a $3 million loan. I forgot we bought a bunch of land and stuff, so we're gonna go ahead and run with that. And then I'm gonna come up in here, and we're going to get the baler. Hopefully we've got the money for this. I do wish that the eye tracking would pause when I'm in a menu. It's a little disorienting to see everything moving around behind me here. So we're gonna go ahead and grab this John Deere 100. I believe it's the US styled one. No, those wheel options are no good. All right, standard it is. And oh my gosh, it's only $12,000. Well, I guess it's not the newest machine in the world, but it's in pretty good shape. So here I was worried about having enough money with our 120,000. We're good to go. So let me just put some of that back in the bank. All right, and here we go. Let's get up here and see what I can do to hook this up. I'm gonna give myself a little extra room here. And then let's go ahead and see what I can do. That 3-point arm's super helpful to me right now. There we go. And away we go. Now, I should get a rake or a merger or something out here. I know I've talked about doing that in the past. We're going to forego it for the moment. just because these aren't that big of fields, and I kind of want to see how fast I end up getting bales. So I'm going to go over here to the first field that we baled up, and if this is going to generate a lot of bales, we'll go ahead and just run with it. If this turns out to be pretty slow going, maybe we'll go ahead and get a merger or something out here too. I'm not quite sure yet. Kind of wanted to check on our tillage, which seems to be going to town here, which is encouraging. Hasn't got hung up on anything yet. And let's go ahead, we'll jump right in here. I do need to get everything set up. All right, I've got the baler running. We're gonna jump right into this row here. And then let's check behind us. Oh, let me get on the row here. And then we'll get going, make sure that it's kind of going in here. Nice. All right. Well, this is gonna definitely take a little bit of getting used to, but as far as in-cab driving goes, our AI worker has stopped. The tank's empty. She should be able to make her way back up to the farm. I think I've got everything set up there. So we're just bouncing along here in the 7810. This thing is pulling this nicely. No major RPM issues down there. Very good. Helps if I can stay centered on the hay though. And we're just gonna keep running on this. Now, the one thing I'm finding in different situations is that it's not super convenient to turn around and look at the implement behind you when you're trying to drive, especially when you're going 12 miles an hour. I suppose I could always slow down a little bit, but I feel like I can barely handle driving on the hay row here and keeping everything focused when we're driving this fast. So looking behind me is always going to be interesting. I'm also, it doesn't turn super fast. I've got to find a sensitivity setting for that. I'd like it to rotate the camera just a little bit faster, I think, is the next tweak that I need to figure out how to make. All right, well, there's the first pass, and I'm just looking at what's on the ground here, which is not much, if anything, from our previous pass. So we're doing a good job staying on the row, picking up bales. I have not paid attention in any way as to how many bales we tossed out there. It looks like we've got 2 so far, so that's pretty good. Like I said, I could rake or emerge this, but by the time I were to purchase that equipment, haul it out here, do the job, I might as well just run the baler over it and be done with it. If I had more helpers on this farm, you know, if this is a multiplayer game, we'd definitely be busting out multiple pieces of equipment to get this done faster. But single player, and the fact that I'm so low on funds right now, you know, is honestly what's going on in the back of my mind. I think we're gonna just stick to what we've got right now and make it happen. The fact that we've switched to bales is kind of a not unnecessary. I just attempt to be a little bit more realistic again. We were picking it up with the forage chopper there, and while I've seen people do it, it's not a super common practice, and so we've gone back to the bales here and an attempt, as always, to stay true to, you know, at least realistic-ish farming practices when we can. I'm digging this setup. This 7810 normally feels like a pretty small machine, but when you're running in cab, it gives you a sense of the size that it really is. It's not that it's a small machine by any regards. It's just, you know, you get used to driving the, you know, 9630 or something like that. That's pretty beefy, and then this thing always feels so small compared to it. But I'm having a blast driving this thing through the field and getting this baling done. I don't know. I talked about it a lot in the Toby review video, but this really improves the immersion for me personally. I'm going to be really curious to see how this video comes out once it's edited, because things always tend to look a little bit different from a viewer's perspective. So I'll be curious to come back and watch this after the fact and see if it's something that I would enjoy watching. And you should definitely let me know in the comments if you want to see me keep going with this, or if this is a view and things are too jerky and you absolutely don't like how this looks or works out. The field's mighty bumpy back here, though. That much I can say. We're getting bounced and jostled around everywhere here in this tractor. I have to say, this thing is really shining in being able to pick up all of these loose ends and stuff down here. I find like I always overshoot stuff when I'm doing it external for whatever reason, and here I'm able to just kind of keep my eye right on the next row and kind of jump right in here, and it just feels really natural. And looking over here, it looks like, man, that tillage is doing really good over there. Not too shabby at all. We're gonna be done with that job before I get both of these fields baled, I think. I'm a little bit concerned at the state of the sun. We're losing sun quick, but it is only October 2nd. I think I've got this on 3 or 4 day months, so we'll have to see where things are after it starts getting a little bit darker. We're not quite at the stage where I feel like I need to turn the lights on yet, but that sun is going to be going down pretty quick here as we get closer to, I think, 5 p.m. Got quite a collection of bales right here in the same spot on the headland, too. I did install a different bale auto-loading trailer onto the save, so when the time comes, we'll have to check that out. We're having a hard time pulling this thing up the hill. Had to shift down a notch. But we've got it going again here. I'm at 10 miles an hour. I bet you I could get a little bit faster. Let's try that. Yeah, bouncing up there into 11 now. Perfect. Got to remember I've got real dashboard installed, so I can actually look down at the tractor dash and see the 10.5 miles an hour. That's pretty nice. You know, at some point here, I'm going to get confident enough that I can turn off the in-game HUD altogether for this experience. And at that point, I'll be able to stop looking at the corners of the screen, which really disrupts the view, and start looking at more appropriate places. So let me try that real quick. So without a HUD over there to look at, I'm going to find myself naturally glancing down to see that I'm going 10.5 miles an hour. I like it. This makes me want even more actual dashboards that do things in cab. Ooh, real dashboard. I'll have to put that back in for seeing how full my grain cart and stuff is. That's going to be pretty slick. And if I remember correctly, that mod also works with like planters or, you know, air drills and stuff like that. That's got seed tanks, bulk seed tanks, air carts, and I can see how much material we've got in those. That might be a really cool thing to force ourselves to use a little bit more then too. Drop this down a couple gears, and since I can actually see what gear I'm in, what is that, 13th gear? 12th gear maybe? Let's see, I think it's 12th gear. We're gonna check ourselves. Oh, 14th. I was off by 2. So we just got to get used to it, but we were close. And we're still pulling up this hill kind of hard. That's all right. We'll get there. I'm having a blast here. I don't know. I know I'm being a little bit repetitive in today's episode. It's a new learning experience for me. I have a tendency to talk to myself quite a bit when I'm trying to figure something out, and the repetition kind of is a sign that I'm reinforcing the same thoughts. I haven't changed my mind or anything like that. Our tillage guy is on the last passes here, coming back in between the rows, so that should be a good sign that he's almost ready to start doing the headland passes. And I haven't seen the slurry tanker go by in a little bit, but I have admittedly not been paying attention. I don't see him out there. I really want to see if that head leaning mod that is on the mod hub is going to interact with this Tobii eye tracker, because if I could get kind of a lean when I turn my head to look to either side. That could be really useful. All right, last pass of grass here. We'll drop it down a couple of gears, give me the oomph I need to get up this hill. You can tell by where my RPMs get whether or not we're pulling through. As long as I keep them above that, 22-ish mark, we're doing good. We've got all kinds of bales out here too. All right, let's turn the HUD back on for a moment. I'm just curious how many bales we got. We're half a bale still in the baler. Go ahead and lift that up. We made 15 bales out here. That's actually more than I was expecting. So we're doing good. Let's toss this thing up a couple of gears. I think we can bounce our way down the edge of the field. I have to say the cab bouncing mechanic here feels so much cooler when we're in cab and I'm doing everything by moving my head around here. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and run this over here to our other field real quick, and then we're gonna go check in on that slurry spreader. I just want to make sure everything's going good down there because that's a big field, and if he gets hung up on something, we want to address it before it's too late. I feel like I appreciate the sounds inside of this thing a lot more being in cab. Hearing the gear thunk as I upshift into higher gears or downshift as we're slowing down is a nice touch. All right, here we go, pulling in, and I'm gonna just I'm gonna put it right here. We're not even gonna get started on this. Shut everything down. I guess I should have made sure we were off the road, but it looks like we are. And of course, now that I'm out, I can just see the slurry spreader. Well, let's jump in the truck here and head on over there. We haven't given this thing a shot yet. The view is looking nice here. This one's actually got semi-useful mirrors. I could probably use to move that mirror a little bit out. I think this one's actually got adjustable mirrors on it too. I'll have to start figuring some of those things out now that I could potentially use those a lot more realistically. But yeah, this is awesome. I'm going way too fast, but hey, I can actually look both ways before I cross the road now. Oh, it doesn't help. It doesn't help. Yeah, so far I think my only gripe is needing to increase the sensitivity at which I turn the head left and right. If I can sort that out, this is going to be good to go for a whole playthrough. I'm going to go ahead and just drive out here on the headlands, come on down and check out the end row where he was just turning into, see if we can see how many passes he's got left. Got to stay out of this big ditch over here. I think there's some water running over there. Oh, there he is up there. So we've got 1 or 2 more passes. That looks like 1 to me, I think. So we're working our way back down the end here with 1 pass on his way back down, potentially. Yeah, because that's 2. All right, we're getting close, folks. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just get turned around here. This field is a bouncy one, that's for sure. And with this worker checked in on, I think our job tonight as the farm manager is going to be complete. I think we're going to wrap this one up here today, folks. It's a little bit shorter of an episode maybe, but we're going to go ahead and run up to the farm, get some dinner, and we'll check back in tomorrow with getting the rest of these jobs done. I want to get all that hay picked up and put in the barn, and we'll figure out how to get back to the farm here eventually. We missed the driveway completely, and we'll kind of keep pushing on things on the farm here. I know in December we've got some corn to sell now too, which will be fun, especially if I'm going to do the actual driving with this whole setup. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. A little bit different, very much a focus on the Toby eye tracker in game for an episode. The rest of the episodes we'll try and get back into, I'll say, maybe a more normal narrative here as we keep going. But I think we're going to keep using this unless I get a lot of overwhelming complaints that it is too disruptive for the videos. If you enjoyed today's video, let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button, helps me out a lot, and we'll catch you soon for another episode. That's all for today. Ketterk out.